But yeah, and Kirby and Pokemon and Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hello and welcome to Gaming Knuckleheads Talk, the show where when you're behind the scenes, you talk about whatever the hell you want. And apparently we finish our conversations after the countdown.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And in spite of mentioning Pokemon technically being a $60 game today, as you can see from more or less our range of topics from today, we're actually going to be cutting Game Freak some slack for once. Because
Give it 5 minutes, people.
No, seriously, I can't think of anything in any of these topics where we can literally say take notes, Game Freak. I mean, our first topic, like your topic, game soundtracks, that is one thing that the games have going for them. They still have some good music, you know?
Yeah, and I was mainly just poking fun at you here, so
Yeah, I know,
don't take it personally.
But I mean, on a normal night, you would be absolutely right. Give it 5 minutes, and we'll basically be saying, "Screw you, Masuda." Okay, so this is practically a tradition. Instead of directly taking the piss out on them, we'll start out by Nintendo is desperately mass posting Pokemon stuff on their Twitter because of Palworld. And what are the Game Freak needs to improve people doing? Oh, hey, I haven't seen that PAL in Palworld yet. They're literally getting their asses trolled because instead of literally listening to criticism and trying to improve upon the franchise, they're just like, but look at all these Pokemon. They opened the door to the trolling, you know? Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, Brent, soundtracks. What is Gaming Knuckleheads Cogsworth without a little music?
Exactly, and what's a game without a little bit of music? Because honestly, game soundtracks, they really add a bit more into like the game itself. Like, you know, it can help set up like the atmosphere, get your heart pumping when you're in like battles, calm you when you're in a very good area. So I kind of want to talk about well, this could be just about like, you know, game soundtracks in general, our favorite types, ones that always nail the soundtracks and stuff like that. But if you guys have ones where it's like, you know, where you heard a soundtrack and you just thought to yourself, what the hell were they thinking? Feel free to go ahead on that one. Personally, I will say one of the bigger ones that I think usually nails it with like soundtracks is Nintendo. Like Pokemon, Zelda, Mario, Metroid, Donkey Kong, Kirby, exactly. I was about to get to that one.
F-Zero.
That too. I won't forget that, even though they haven't had a game in a while. But point is that Nintendo, I don't know why, but they really know how to make like their soundtracks good. Like you will find at least like
099 wants to know if it's a joke to you.
I'm talking about new actual, like, you know, ones. You got what I meant.
I had to go there.
But the point I'm trying to say is like you could probably name any Nintendo game, and you could probably think at least of one like track that sticks out into your mind. Luigi's Mansion 2, and Luigi's Mansion 3.
Isn't that Luigi's Mansion theme at this point, even if it's unofficial on each menu?
Yeah.
I will say one thing in terms of soundtracks is like, as I've been working my way through the Apollo Justice trilogy, right? All through, like I'm on the bonus episode of Dual Destinies, so I'm almost done with the first two games, right? And even though there's plenty of memorable tracks in the game, when I'm done playing a section and I'm putting my Switch to charge, the first thing that pops into my head is Sasha and Orla's pirate song from the Swashbuckler Spectacular.
Yeah.
In the bonus episode of Dual Destinies, like no matter which game I'm playing, it's like you know, it pops into my head. I didn't even before I got to that stage to that episode. I can still clearly hear the song playing. Like that, like it's like you pick up a game, you put it down, and then it's like even the last piece of music you heard, you might end up how memorable it is, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I know that we've talked about like music making or breaking a game in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, a good soundtrack is honestly, in my opinion, it's very, very essential to a portion of the design. You know.
I honestly say it's definitely one of the key essentials you need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was just thinking of like the Mega Man soundtrack today, Mega Man 2. So I was just like, oh, maybe I should play some Mega Man 2 today, and I did. And so yeah, it was thanks to the thinking of the soundtrack in my head that I felt compelled to play it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, let's take a moment to bring up like with music, like rhythm games.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Theater Rhythm, Final Bar Line. We've talked about that on the channel before. Like, it's got such a wide selection of music because of how big the Final Fantasy games are. But it's like I see some of the tracks that pop in, and I'm like, oh, I like this track, even though I've never played this game. It's like, oh, I know that track. I love that track.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah. It's like with Nintendo alone, the amount of good compositions musically, I don't think you could fit all the essentials into one like rhythm game, you know? I'm just gonna put that out there.
Well, they kind of did with I mean, they one time did make a Nintendo rhythm game. I think it was just like a version of Dance Dance Revolution.
Yeah, it was Mario Mix, but I'm talking about like Nintendo proper, like all the first and second party stuff. Like I'm talking about Kirby, I'm talking about Paper Mario, I'm talking about mainline Mario. I mean, the number of jamming tracks in Mario Kart 8, in the Mario Kart franchise alone, you'd have to dedicate a whole fucking game to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I mean, do you ever like look for tracks on like Spotify or like Apple Music or wherever you get your music from?
I try to.
The closest I've ever looked for is soundtracks from The World Ends With You. Yeah. Because usually, like when it comes to like games as a soundtrack in general, sometimes you like some songs better than others. So it's like you might like sample some of the tracks, but I don't really like these tracks. I just want to buy these tracks and then not buy the whole soundtrack, you know?
Yeah.
Like if an entire soundtrack has a great selection, but in other cases, like a soundtrack might have some good ones and like some misfires, you know? Yeah. Like Sonic the Hedgehog, like everybody knows like practically every track from like the 4 games of the Genesis era. But to be honest, some of them are better than others. And don't even get me started on Sega refusing to pay Michael Jackson's estate, so we're stuck with the crappy prototypes. You know, like if Yuji Naka was here right now, I would look directly into his camera feed and just be like, pay the goddamn estate already.
No.
Music back. Put that music back in, for fuck's sake.
I don't think Yuji Naga is in charge anymore. I think he's in prison.
This looks like a job for Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Yuji Naka, Japanese video game developer. In 2006, Naka left Sega to found the independent game company Probe. He joined Square Enix to direct the platform game Balan Wonderland. Oh yeah, how did that work out? Which reunited him with the Sonic co-creator Naoto Oshima. Naka was removed from the project 6 months before the game was released in Balan Wonderland. So that's why it underperformed. He was kicked off. He left Square in April of 2021. In 2023, he was found guilty of insider trading at Square Enix. Now we'll scroll down to the insider trading charges portion.
Mm-hmm.
He was arrested. To this, it's saying that he was arrested, but he has only been mostly paying fines, as most of his sentences have been suspended.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
No, so I guess he's not in prison.
He may or may not be at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, people have done worse to get thrown in prison. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how good or how bad, like, I don't know, like, how major of an offense insider trading is, but
Mm-hmm.
no matter how bad it is, there are worse crimes. And, like, speaking of, like, classic composers, I don't know if either of you ever saw, I think it was Tom's Game Docs, but it was the video that on YouTube that talked about the origins of the Super Mario World overworld theme.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to the original American folk song that it was based off of.
Mm.
I listened to the original Japanese pop song that it was adapted into.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's just like the original folk song is like, wow, this is bad. How did Japan manage to make such a bad American folk song so much better? Like, I mean, not just like Japan. How could anybody from another country make it better? Like, it's just like the original song is just, it's really fast paced, too much of a country twang. It sounds like there's something wrong with it compared to like when like Koji Kondo heard the original folk song and then it was later adapted into a Japanese pop song, like, and then he took that pop song and took the composition into the chipset instrumental that became the overall theme. Like the Japanese version of the song, like the redesign is like a more upbeat pop style song.
Yeah,
And
contemporary.
Someone who listens to a lot of rock and metal, by the way. Like, I don't tend to listen to pop music very often, if at all. So for me to praise a song in the pop genre, whether it's from America or another country, that's saying something compared to like, yeah. So, yeah. It's just interesting that the song of origin is not that good compared to what we ended up getting in the game. So,
Well, that's the power of a remix.
oh yeah.
Just like I mean, there's been so many remixes out there of practically every song. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what are your do you have any specific favorite tracks from a game or something?
Oh, where do I begin? Well, I'm compiling my thoughts. Let's talk to Brent.
I'm thinking at the moment, just trying to rack my brain on all of them.
Well, for me, it's like either probably like Ken's theme from Street Fighter 2, and Sagat's theme from Street Fighter 2. And then in Mega Man 2, I like Metal Man and Twitman.
What I'll do is I'll take 5 games and I'll name my top favorite track from each of them.
Okay.
Original Final Fantasy, Matoya's Cave. Donkey Kong Country 2, Gangplank Galleon. I especially like what Ultimate did with their remix. Apollo Justice Ace Attorney, Guilty as Charged, the rock theme that plays when Claver's when Clavier is sitting in on a big objection. And then Simon's theme from Super Castlevania 4. And I need one more, so I'm just gonna go with a more recent one. All-time favorite top Neo: The World Ends With You track for me definitely has to be Insomnia.
Yep. Let me see. If I'm just thinking 5 off the top of my head, Kirby theme, the one from Kirby 64. That one sticks out to my mind the most. Let's see. The Mario 3's base level one.
Overworld?
Yeah, Overworld.
Yeah.
Let me think. Zora's Domain from Ocarina of Time. Sanctuary Fortress from Metroid Prime 2. And I'll just pull out a classic. F-Zero's Big Blue.
I think that's like the #1 beloved track in the whole franchise.
Yeah, I know.
For me, my favorite,
the real test.
F-Zero.
I'm
the real
listening.
test. Your top 10 tracks from the Metroid franchise. Oh yeah, he's gonna do it. He's gonna fucking do it. Number 10.
Well, if we're not putting them exactly in order, let's see. Talon Overworld from Metroid Prime, definitely one of the ones. Sanctuary Fortress, again, definitely be on there, including Torva's Bog as well. It's one of the most recognizable ones from there, so that's 3 of them. Let me think.
I'm keeping count even if they can't see my fingers.
Skytown from Metroid Prime 3. Area 1 SRX from Fusion. Let me think.
Anything from Zero Mission?
Hold on a second. I had a train of thought.
Oh, sorry.
Barinia from Dread, the water world. Both versions, both above land and below water.
Does that count as 1 or 2?
Technically 2, since they're variations.
Okay.
Let me think. Service of SR388 from SR38, both versions, either Return of Samus or Samus Returns. And well, this one also is with Super Mission and also Zero Mission. It's Brinstar, both versions.
Brinstar is the original one that goes do 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 do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna play. Yeah, I mean, like Matt, we mustn't confuse the viewers. Zero Mission is just a remake of the NES.
I think they would know that.
I'm pretty sure everyone would know that.
But then there are probably some people. Oh wait, I was wrong. We do get to take the piss out on Pokemon, not on purpose. There are probably some people out there that think games like Dragon Quest Monsters and Shin Megami Tensei are shameless ripoffs of Pokemon. So you'd be surprised what people should know and what they don't know. Oh yeah. I gave it an honest try. But there was always something to pick fun at with them.
Well, you lasted almost 20 minutes, so that's good on you.
Any more in the world of music, or shall we move on?
I've got nothing else to go on.
I'm good.
Okie dokie. I'll let the resident perverts have fun in the chat, as long as YouTube doesn't come after us for that. But okay, so why do I get all the weirdos?
I've got no idea. Maybe you just attract them.
Have you seen the company I keep when I go to conventions?
That's what I was about to say. I mean, have you seen me and Matt?
Anyway, so used games, in particular, the used game model. The big reason behind this is because this is really more of a critique on GameStop and the fact that they need to put a little bit more care. It's like, I know, like in just our last episode, we had talked about how it's like, DRM is a good way to keep people from like cheating in multiplayer. Used Bob's Burgers would probably use rotten meat. Good luck with that. Anyway, it's like, but then we also were like, look, cheating in a single player game by yourself, that's up to you. It's your choice, But companies have not always been okay with that. And it's like, I used to use in like single player stuff in the Game Boy Advance days, Game Sharks. Especially when I was still getting good at games. And sometimes utilizing Game Shark codes would cause the game to internally fuck up. Like it would break the game. And I learned the hard way in my college days. I bought a used copy of a Game Boy Advance game. It was one of the Mortal Kombat ones.
Mortal Kombat 2?
Let me Google it. No, Mortal Kombat Game Boy Advance. I'd recognize it if I saw it. It was not Advance. It was either Deadly Alliance or Tournament Edition. One of the two. I bought the game at GameStop, and I popped it into my Game Boy Advance when I got back to my apartment. And the game was glitching up and broken. The person before me had been using Game Shark. And because there was no physical damage to the cartridge, they took it and resold it. And that's a really big problem with the used game model. It's like a company like GameStop is like, well, we would not be in business if it wasn't for used games. And that's a really big problem with the used game model. Sometimes damage to a game can be internal. A game can look like it's perfectly fine physically on the outside. But that game might be like broken or bricked in some way. It might be unplayable, unbootable in some way. It's like Mario Party 6. It's the most popular of the Mario Party games out there. And I bought it in 2010. And the game, for some reason, did not want to like you guys have seen the disc errors. And you've seen the disc. There's no scratches or gouges or anything. It's in like new condition. Like disc damage on a disc-based game is an internal thing. The more you play a game on its disc, the more likely the game is to start glitching out, even if the disc is in perfect condition. And I think that GameStop needs to start making employees test games before. Like, okay, so this game looks like it's physically in good condition, so we can take it. Before we resell it, we're going to pop it into a test system and make sure it's working. As long as it's working and there's no internal unseen glitches, we can sell it. But they don't do that. And that's how I bought a broken, unplayable game from GameStop used. So I feel like the used game model is the whole reason that so many people are looking forward to the all digital future, which will be my topic for next week. So we'll talk more on that, next time. But but the pros and the cons of that aside, if we want to keep physical gaming around long enough to stop the whole "you don't own your games," we need to start improving upon the used game model. Because I mean, it's like, think about it. You can buy broken, busted games from Amazon and eBay, and they're not going to do jack shit. Yeah.
Yep.
Your turn to weigh in.
Yeah. You can go ahead, Brent, and then I'll go.
Well, I mean, you pretty much said what I was going to be saying here. Like, I feel like in terms of used games, like, you can either have games where it's just someone who has, like, gotten tired of it and wants to trade in and still in working condition, or it could be ones where it's like, it's damaged and they're just getting rid of something they're not going to use for. And if you're going to redistribute that to someone, you should make sure that the game is playable before you just basically, waste your time and their time.
Yeah, or just, say that it is damaged and, you should know what you're buying if it is damaged, because some people on eBay, they sell like damaged and broken consoles.
Yeah.
And some people on the internet, they buy those consoles and they repair them, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, I found a busted Genesis a couple of months back in the what I'll have to do, Matt, when we're doing like behind the scenes stuff, or like if you want to help me with like the Mario vs. Donkey Kong demo video tomorrow, before we get started, like I can show it to you. But like you can, like, I use a site called RF Generation, and there's a lot of like trading of like games and stuff. I've actually bought some of my Game Boy cartridge protectors and some of my Super Nintendo dust protectors from people on there. I've been trying to figure out the best way to go about, hey, I already have a Model 1 Sega Genesis. This is a busted console I found. Can anybody repair it, or can they salvage it for parts? If so, name your price, and I just gotta figure out how the UPS store across the street from me handles getting it packaged and shipped away. But it's like, again, with like busted and broken games, the only point that I will give to GameStop is if the game looks physically damaged, they won't take it. So when it comes to, you should have a right to know, it's like if there's internal damage that can't be seen, Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree, because there's this one game store that I go to that sells used games, and I'm pretty sure they test all their games and consoles before they well, no, you can sell it to them, but I'm pretty sure before they actually put it out there, they test all their stuff. They'll still take it.
I hope so, because I don't know how a busted game, internally busted, slipped through the cracks back in like 2008,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about a specific game store that's not GameStop here.
Well, that store up there, they do test the games.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly how it should be. Like up in Tampa, there's a store called Are You Game, and they sell both modern and new and retro games. But what they also do, $7. They will provide the battery. They will change cartridge batteries. But you know what they do after they stick that battery into your cartridge, solder it in, and put the cartridge back together?
What?
They pop it into a test system and make sure that the battery save took, or that the repair was successful. Like, they make a save file, they take the cartridge out, they put it back in. If the save retains, congratulations, you just got your battery repaired for the cheapest possible price.
That's good.
Like, I bought a copy of Pokemon Yellow, and it was glitchy. They actually took a brand new copy out of its box, kept the box in case another used copy of the game came in, and gave me the box copy without the box, that I had paid for the non-box copy, because they had accidentally sold me a game. No, I do not, and I'm afraid to ask why. Anyway, but yeah, it's like it was like doing that thing where like the Nintendo logo would just repeat over and over and over and over and over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Stop that. Yep. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And no, Cheesecake, that stop it wasn't to you. That was like to like the game, to the Nintendo logo on the Game Boy repeating. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like the text in like the text in the chat. Okay. I will let you figure that out then. Anyway, where was I?
Used games.
I know. But yeah, like okay, like I was in my friend's car because I was up visiting, and I picked up the game, and we were leaving. I popped it into my Game Boy Pocket on the drive back to my place, back to my not my place because I was up visiting because I don't live in Tampa anymore. But I was visiting my family all the way back to my parents' place. Is like, oh wait, the game is glitching. Can we go back? We had literally just left the shopping plaza. We're at the light. We were able to turn into another entrance of the plaza to go back to the store. And when I showed them what the problem was, they tested it on a test system. Like, yeah, there's something wrong with this cartridge. We got to get it repaired. Here, this is the only other copy we have. We can't give you the box and manual, but because you did pay for a used game, you may fire when ready, Cheesecake. Anyway, damn, where was so it's like, you paid for this. We can either give you a refund or we can give you another copy. And they tested that secondary copy first, and it worked. And that's that's a copy of Yellow I have that's sitting in the wicker basket behind me on the second shelf beneath the Switch games. Yeah. Oh yeah, if I angle it right, you can see my Super Scope. Muster the Goombas. Ready the de-evolution guns. Wait, were they using an NES zapper or a Super Scope in that movie?
What movie?
The original '93 Super Mario Brothers. Because like they used one of the peripherals, like either the Super Scope that I'm holding or the NES zapper, but that was what they used for like the video phones in the movie.
I don't remember.
Oh, neither do I. I still have in my storage closet on the porch. I still have the original '93 movie, so I can easily pop it into the DVD player and skip ahead to the scene. It's funny. He's still waiting. Like he never gets his pizza by the end of the movie. Even the turtles got their pizza within 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we beat this topic to death.
I think it's more the audience beat the topic to death by derailing it.
No. This is what I'm used to from my chat section. I'm used to it. I mean, I just think we ran out of shit to say on the used game model.
Yeah, that too.
Oh, I got the Brent. Sorry, not Brent. You don't want to know what you walked in on. Trust me. Okay, Matt, you will now lead us in sermon. I mean, talking about games that are based on movies.
Yeah.
Can
of these
I give the explanation?
haven't.
Can I give the explanation?
Yeah.
So this isn't like This is not like adaptations of games. This is literally like Shrek games, basically. Shrek started out as a movie and then had video games made off of it. Kind of like how Dragon Ball started out as a manga and anime and had video games. That's what we mean by games based off movies.
Yeah.
The movie came first, then the game.
So sort of like how 007.
Yeah.
Okay, Matt?
Damn, it's a shame Devin's not here.
Well, I'd say like one of my favorite games based on a movie is like the original Batman video game for the original Nintendo.
Yeah. The one where it actually shows the bad pixel graphic of Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really hard, but still a fun game and has great music.
Oh, yeah.
But unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be a lot of good, like, games based on movies. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, could probably name them on, I don't know, two hands?
On what?
On two hands?
So
As opposed to one hand? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, what games based on movies have you guys played? If you played any?
Well, the earliest one that I played was one of the first Game Boy games I ever owned. It was Casper.
Mm-hmm.
It was one where you had to like go through like all those mini games to fix the machine and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, for a kid, some of those puzzles, they make From Software look like easy games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's the fun game you like? But yeah, Brent, games based off movies that you've played.
Let's see. Earliest one I ever did was 007 GoldenEye.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And if I had known, let's see, bear the noodles, chew garlic. That actually sounds good. I'd like that recipe. Anyway, but yeah, like I said, if I had known that this topic was somehow going to lead to talk of GoldenEye, I would have been like, yeah, we need Devin to guest in this episode.
Yeah.
GoldenEye Memories, starring Devin.
Yeah.
I can tell you my memories. Getting
And mine-
headshot by my brother repeatedly.
And mine too, where we used the golden gun a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And the remote mines.
Yeah, back in the days when we were roommates, Danny and I had tried to do like a Borderlands live streaming series on our Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
We got one episode in before a lot of the shit that put the channel on and off hiatus came in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But there would have been a lot of fun there. There would have been a lot of me being like, "Help me!"
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, and GoldenEye, I'd say we always chose like the levels where you could just like crouch and just like snipe people and stuff like that. It was hilarious.
Oh yeah, it's like I also think GoldenEye is like the definitive example of like best game based off a movie ever. But
Yeah.
I don't think I've played every game based off a movie. So what do I know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, trying to think of others. Like
Let's go to
there
the
was
chat.
also Batman the Arkham trilogy, but that's not really based off the movies, I don't think.
Yeah, it's not based off.
At the end of Batman Forever, the ending scene was set in Arkham Asylum, but that's about it.
Yeah, but that's not really like, based on like the Batman movies. It's its own thing.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean, but yeah.
Generally, though, the Batman games, most of them have been okay or really good,
Uh-huh.
compared to a lot of games based on movies, which are been not so great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, games based on movies. That's
What about like Ghostbusters?
oh wait, that's the current topic. I was thinking of movies based on games. I am backwards tonight.
Yeah. But like Ghostbusters, I heard that was a good game.
Which one?
Uh, like the new one.
Spirits Unleashed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played a little bit of it. I think it's like got like an interquel type thing going on because I read that Frozen Empire is basically Zedmore is basically taking over as the head of the company.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And he's actually the guy in charge. Like Ray is literally in his occult bookstore across the street in the opening scene of Spirits Unleashed.
Hmm.
It's pretty good, but it takes a little getting used to. It's like the proton pack can overheat, and if you have to get used to like lassoing and dragging the ghost to the trap because even if you're holding it over the trap while it's open, it takes a little practice on how to line it up. So it can actually take a while to actually complete a stage
Hmm.
because you got to get used to like the angles and the timing. Because if you have to let go of the stream to cool down your proton pack, the ghost will run.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. So it's definitely one of those games where it's like you can play it single player. Let me put it this way, Brent. You remember how much of a disaster trying to play Triforce Heroes alone was, right?
Yeah, I know. Probably one of the worst flights I took. Probably
Where
with me.
it's like it should have been a strictly multiplayer game, like no single player at all.
Mm-hmm.
Spirits Unleashed is the halfway point. It's doable, and it's like the single player works better than Triforce Heroes, but it's best played with a group of people.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So basically, Triforce Heroes, but actually good in a way. But multiplayer is preferred.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
Yeah. And like, I don't get why they have like the property damages thing because I'm not getting paid to bust these ghosts in the game. But
Yeah.
every time you destroy shit at the site that you go to, it's like the damage counter ticks up like it did in Ghostbusters, the 2009 video game.
Hmm.
Yeah. That one was actually worthwhile though, because if you racked up too much damage, you would literally be billed as a menace to society. But yeah, Spirits Unleashed is good. It's like fully multi-platform, so you two ever want to give it a try, it's definitely worth trying out, you know?
Hmm.
I mean, I don't think I'll play it as much because I'd rather like do the multiplayer element while I get better at getting the hang of everything.
Hmm.
But it's like definitely worthwhile. It was like when I bought it, it was an impulse purchase because I had the money. I had like the discount coupon. I was like, it was the last copy. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna give it a try.
Hmm.
I had heard of it, but I didn't even know it got ported to the Switch.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you wouldn't think that they, ported to the Switch, but sometimes they don't have like marketing to say that they ported it to it.
Yeah.
What do you think? It's all the
So,
damage control?
Maybe.
Yeah, I went there.
and let's see, I'm trying to think of just one last game. Um, well, I can't really think of any at the moment.
Well, bonus topic, or have we run the night down?
Uh, I'd say I'm pretty good to go.
I'm pretty good to go too, unless you guys want to hear one last thing from me. My list of top 10 Metroid boss themes.
Ooh,
Okay.
Do it.
Okay, give me 1 second. Quadraxis from Metroid Prime 2, always a banger.
Hmm.
Let's see. Omega Pyre from Metroid Prime.
Hmm.
Run this is boss theme from from Metroid Prime 3.
Mhm.
Let's see. Golzuna from Metroid Dread.
Hmm.
Nightmare from Metroid Fusion.
Mhm.
Omega Metroid from Metroid Returns.
Mhm.
And for the last 4, Emperor Ing from Metroid Prime 2.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Omega Ridley from Metroid Prime 3.
Mhm.
Let's see. 2 more. Ravenbeak from Metroid Dread.
Mhm.
All 3 of his tracks are amazing.
Mhm.
Does that count as 3?
I technically count it as 1 because it's basically from each phase of the boss
Okay.
fight.
Mhm.
And Ridley's theme from Super Metroid. You can never go wrong with that one.
Mhm.
And of course, when Metroid Prime 4 finally comes out at long last, you're going to have to update both lists.
Mhm.
Yes, I am. Yep.
All right. Well, I'm going to go about my normal nightly routine as I got to get started on Dragon Quest Monsters.
Mhm.
I'm probably going to be heading off to bed soon because I am exhausted.
Mhm.
I have a job, okay?
Correction, you have an extremely busy job.
Mhm.
Fair.
I've seen people work jobs that do not get as exhausted as others. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's not the job you do, it's how hard they work you.
Mhm.
Well, considering the company I work for, well, I'm not going to say it on here, but you know what I work for, so.
Mhm.
Mhm. All right. Well, you know the drill. Thoughts, opinions, insulting me in the about the topics below in the comments, and we will see you all next time. And with I will just say, with the February Direct around the corner, hopefully. We should be having our next direct discussion coming up in the next couple of weeks. Once I know when the direct is, I will give these two the homework assignment of looking over it before the big show.
Mhm.
Sounds good.
All right. See y'all later.
See ya.